Ro.17, Hot 6, GSL, Season 1, Code S, Round of 16. Get after it.
That's what Classic is feeling like right now. Taking out Dark 2-0. Pretty sick. Dark, of course, one of the favorites of any tournament he enters right now.
I'm super pumped after seeing how well Classic played back there. That's really exciting because he was the one player I was kind of, I guess, a little bit iffy about. I knew he had some name value, but wow, he looked fantastic against Dark.
Yeah.
Making a fool out of anybody who thought he wouldn't be 2-0ing him tonight.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. Now, what happens here if INnoVation can't beat soO? What if soO goes up? And
maybe it's opposite day. Maybe we should just start wearing shoes on our hands.
Oh, man. What would we call a high five then, Tasteless?
A foot 10.
A foot 10?
No, foot 5. Low. I don't know.
You know, it would be the same thing as high fiving someone with mittens on, really.
Yeah.
So, whatever. A midi high five.
INnoVation. A lot of people are saying he is currently the best StarCraft 2 player walking this earth, Artosis.
He is. And, you know, he's got to prove it here, though. This guy wants another GSL victory, obviously. Did take down Gyeonggi, already qualified for Katowice. But soO, on the other hand, well, I mean, he still hasn't won a GSL. There's been more finals than pretty much anyone, but...
Yeah, he's been closer more times than anybody else.
Yeah.
Basically ever. But you can't count him out.
4 finals,
Look
right?
at this turtleneck mogul over here. Oh, my God.
I like... Turtleneck is good style right now. Him and Zest wear it very well.
I don't know if we could pull off turtlenecks. I think we have the Adam's apples that would make us look like that cartoon vulture in the
right now, you would just look like a Steve Jobs wannabe with the turtleneck on.
With the beard and everything.
Yeah. So I don't think it works for you. Whereas I don't like scratchiness around my neck. I don't want a scratchy turtleneck.
I'm trying to think of what you would look like in a turtleneck. I think you would look like that buzzard in Looney Tunes.
I might, yeah. I think that the length of my neck would be given away with the turtleneck.
But Artosis would look good with your big Adam's apple. You know that means Artosis has a lot of testosterone, ladies.
Thanks, Stacey.
He's a real man. He's finished puberty and everything.
Yeah, that must be why I can't grow a beard.
All right, guys, we are about to go into game number 1, INnoVation versus soO. The winner will face off against Classic, the loser against Dark. I can't imagine anybody wants to do that. So this match, definitely super important. So get out there, tell your friends to join us as we start our second best of 3 in tonight's GSL Code S. In the bottom right,
INnoVation.
uh-oh, gotta pause. PP. The PP is pause.
Please pause.
It stands for pause, guys, not PP, not what you're thinking.
Yeah.
All right, grow up.
I remember back in the day in StarCraft 1, you had to type PP if you wanted to pause, but then they made it so that you had to type like PPP.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean in the tournaments in Korea?
Yeah.
Why was that?
I forget.
Pretty please
It's
pause?
something like it was like really, it was difficult to hit the right number of P's or something like that. I don't know. I can't quite recall. Anyways, whatever. Hopefully we'll get that fixed. Probably something dumb like he didn't put in his hotkeys or his sound is off. Oh, the headset. So it is a sound issue.
Got some INnoVation support
10-hour
here.
flight to watch Inno.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
That's not an easy flight.
No. I bet his arms are tired, man. It's not holding that sign up very high.
You were so late. Let's see now. What's a 10-hour flight from where? Maybe he came from L.A.
I mean, he could have come from Busan if he was flapping his arms, man. Like, it'd take a while if you're a human. We don't know what he flew. It could have been a hot air balloon from China. We don't know. Okay? Like, stop trying to label this guy. You're like, well, he must have come from L.A. then. Like, no, Tasteless. He could have come from anywhere.
I'm just trying to show everybody at home that I've been on airplanes before.
Yeah. Jeez.
Okay, game's ready. We are good to go. We never really have any hiccups here at the GSL. You know, we really don't. Something happens.
We have
boom.
burps,
We are
but
on
definitely
it.
not hiccups.
You're funny. In the upper left is soO,
Yeah, there he is.
the turtleneck mogul.
Why mogul?
Well, it's like a mogul, like, you know, it's like a baron. Like, it has like almost all of it.
I know what a mogul is.
I mean, because the turtleneck that is a sick turtleneck.
Yeah, no, that turtleneck is like creeping up into his face.
Like if he was a bullfrog, he could expand his whole neck into that, and it would still have some room.
Yeah, no, you can tell that it's a very well-made turtleneck sweater.
It is.
Could fit in there with him too.
I love it when we see signs and somebody makes a mistake on the sign and like X's it out. They're like, all right, this is not what I wanted to put. It just writes it on the same sign.
Yeah. Oh my.
Now, soO, unlike Dark, and this is not to say that soO cannot macro because he's really, really good at macro, but he would lean a little bit more in the direction of aggro play compared to Dark. I'm not saying he leans more to aggro play than macro play, but he does lean a little bit more towards trying to get in there doing some damage right away.
Yeah. That is definitely the case. Will he be doing that here against INnoVation? Because INnoVation generally brings builds that are like rock solid to GSL. He'll do all sorts of stuff on his stream and everything, but you know, like for instance, he was opening up Hellions in all of his games in the previous round just to make sure he's like, okay, this way I can get a third command center and live through everything.
Some SK Telecom old school support there.
Yeah. Oh. Just like, get him out of here. Kespa's gone.
All right, we have the factory coming
Someone's
down.
like, yeah, I like KT. Get out of here with him. You hold up a freak of signs or nothing.
Well, we got the 2 Hellions coming up here, and Zerg's now getting the 3rd hatchery.
Yeah.
This game so far is sizing up to be much more orthodox and TVZ.
And getting the starport before a third command center, so that's like kind of the place you're looking for INnoVation, what his plans are for the game. A little bit more aggression in the early game. He has the double gas, so after this medevac, we could see him go into something like a Banshee. I don't think that we will, though. The third base area and the natural area are not places that are as easy to poke in with Hellion Banshee. You know, you're up ramps and not as much surface area, so we'll see. But an armory coming up, this is kind of common right now to get Hellbats early on.
Yeah, and this is exactly what I would expect from INnoVation. I don't think, when you look at INnoVation, as far as his strats go, I guess there's always been some exceptions to this with any player, but overall, his strats and his play style, it's not really that flashy. It's just solid.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, despite his ID.
Whoa.
Oh my God, he lets that in.
That's actually a pretty big mess up there, and these Lings are still hitting SCVs.
Yeah, and the fact that they now have killed 2 probes and
SCVs,
seen what's coming. Okay, well, here come the Hellbats. The Roachborn not quite done yet. Cloak on the way as well. This could be a bit dangerous here, Tasis. He has almost no Zerglings.
Yeah, and in fact, the angle of the Marines and Hellbats is pretty perfect. We see that the Queen is coming up right now, and I don't believe there's any transfuses available. Am I missing this?
Nothing
Yeah,
there's
nothing. Okay. Well, here's the problem, is if he actually continues to control this really, really well, I don't know if it's going to be stopped.
Yeah.
This definitely has some momentum. In fact, that medevac did not even die.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Do we have our first GSL bop in 2017?
We might.
If this was a meal, it might as well be a beep and bop because he just walked in the guy's base, and I guess he wins the game.
If this was a bad game for American children in the 90s, this could be a bop it.
If this was a bad game currently, it could be bop mitten.
Bop mitten.
All right, well, he didn't get completely killed off, but, you know, I've heard workers are pretty good, so I'm not sure how he's going to play this from here on out.
Okay, well, Banshee's here to defend off the roaches. I guess it doesn't qualify as a bop, does it?
It's not exactly a bop.
No.
It's more of a boop, but I will tell you something. That did way more damage than it was supposed to.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess ideally you're always supposed to kill them, but normally at Code S level, the Zerg does hold that, and it's...
Well, ideally you're supposed to be able to kill him with your Scout Reaper, right? But, like, that shouldn't happen ever. And I'm sure that soO is quite sad about this outcome. Look at this. Now the Banshee flying over here, just destroying everything. Remember when soO was like, well, you know, I might die today, but at least I hope to beat INnoVation? Bad news for you, buddy.
Yeah, this is not going too well. Oh my God, this is painful. In fact, the drone's not even evacuated to another base. They're doing a ring around the rosy here. And the Banshee's going to get away.
9 more kills.
Wow.
Jeez. I guess he's going. Is that a drop lord that he just made? I didn't see. Okay. No, maybe not. But I don't know, man. Look at the production tab and stuff. Look at the supply. Like, he's so.
Hey, wait.
He's in so
Can we
much
take
trouble.
this moment to do a Todd impression?
Okay.
Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Look at the supply.
eSportsEarnings.com. Oh. Sorry.
No, we
Sorry.
got to do our Todd. Look at the supply voice. Can you do it? Look at the supply.
Look at the supply.
Look at the supply.
Yeah. I thought we were doing the esports earning one. He loves
citing esports earning because we're Brood War players.
So look at me.
I was paid in mouse pads in my esports career. All right, the push now continues forward. And even if Zerg has enough to hold this, which I don't believe he does, he's certainly not making drones behind this, so his economy is never going to get to a functional state.
Yeah, he's as dead as Zerg can be. GG.
GG. INnoVation.
The initial push did too much.
He's turning him into a scat man. Bippity bop, boop, bop, 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 skippity bop, bop, bopping. soO. Wow.
Got to bring back that music. Now that's music. Now that's art tasteless.
Yeah.
And you know who that is? The scat man.
Wow. INnoVation just crushed him.
Yeah.
I mean, really impressive.
Yeah.
I think soO was caught off guard.
Well, certainly that.
Man,
I feel like someone planted soO inside of this. He's just now sprouting out of the turtleneck. You know what I mean?
It's like
he's
a
plant.
He's actually a sandworm coming out of a human's neck body. Well, INnoVation, as
Look at
always.
that little wimpy turtleneck INnoVation has on.
Yeah, well, definitely.
It doesn't even
soO.
hug his neck. It's like, do you even turtleneck, bro? I mean, come on.
Nobody's turtlenecks like soO does.
Well,
And judging by the way this series is going, if he loses that turtleneck might just crawl up over his head and he disappears. Like a reverse
At least
blossom.
you can hide his face really quickly.
Yeah,
if he
no
needs
kidding.
to.
Looks like game number 2 is almost ready. Newkirk Precinct is going to be the map. Now, does the map matter? Because just looking at the rate at which INnoVation pushes, INnoVation grows, and I wasn't looking, I suppose, at that game in the right way to really see did soO miss something, because
It was a super fast armory and stuff. You didn't have any units when he got there.
But that's not like that uncommon. Obviously, he's dealt with that a bunch. But I'm just wondering, was it like those 2 lings, or 4 lings rather, 2 to the main, 2 to the expansion? Was he so focused on like getting SCVs that then he just didn't quite make enough attacking units? Because when that hit, there was definitely not enough.
Yeah, I know. He just had nothing when it came, so hopefully he has something when it comes this time, too.
Let's get ready. This is game number 2. Right now, INnoVation with a convincing 1-0 lead versus soO. These 2 players fighting to go up against Classic and get that much closer to becoming a GSL Code S finalist. In the bottom left, in the blue.
INnoVation.
If you
Are you laughing at me? Why are you laughing at me when I do these?
If you stretch that a little bit more, you could have gone right into in the blue. A little bit closer to fight Classic in the blue. It's INnoVation.
In the bottom right.
soO.
That's hard work, or
It's just like this stream.
Trying to make those intros new every time. I'm going to make fun of you in my next intros.
You
all
do
right?
it.
All right.
I
I'm going to do
want
it.
you to.
All right.
Because the intros, man. Jeez.
Okay, soO goes for pool, then gas. Gas, then pool, rather.
My favorite ever, still for you, is when you don't know if it's like a TVT, be like, our Terran player, 1 of 2.
That's true. Sometimes I don't know.
Oh my God. Thank you, Tasteless, for that. Like, the viewers need that. They're like, who is this, Tasteless? You're like, the Terran player, 1 of 2. It's like,
It's not a 3-way free for all, guys.
It's like saying something without saying anything, right? It's like, I'm like, Tasteless.
Oh, no. It's so
teach
true
me
what you're saying.
Teach me math or something. You're like, well, 2 + 2 - 2. And it's like, okay, so we're just at the same place we were. I mean, I'm sure there's some Buddha saying about like keeping your mouth shut, and like only opening it when you have something to add.
I learned this word because you know the word onomatopoeia, right?
Yeah.
There's an Indian word, and I can't remember what it was. Somebody please tweet this at me. But it's a hilarious sounding word that basically means to be saying nothing.
Oh yeah.
It's like you're saying something, but you're really not saying anything. It sounds so funny.
I really
somebody
wanna know
tweeted
this
at me, and
word.
I'll mention it in the next cast because I want to use that.
An Indian word that means saying nothing.
Yeah, well, you're saying something, but you're really not saying anything at all.
Yeah.
It's like meaningless conversation.
Yeah, like equivocating or like.
Kind of like equivocating, but not exactly. Equivocating is like you're trying to make a statement, but you're really like vacillating between the two opinions, and it's not really clear what you mean.
Yeah.
Anyways, we have Ling's Speed on the way here, and a third command center coming down here.
And then I'm like, this says both those on the production tab. You're doing that Indian word thing again.
Does anyone else think this guy is a fraud? The Reaper coming out here to poke in. By the way, INnoVation going to bring this game in a slightly different direction. He went with some pressure play last game, and this time he's going to be retracting from any presence on the map early, besides the Reaper, maybe a Hellion or two to poke out. He's going to be focused on macroing, and any pressure he's really putting on is actually feigned.
Yeah, this is like kind of the more safety type of play that we see from INnoVation. He used this type of build a lot in the group stage of round of 32. I like where he put the third command, because any overlords trying to come in, that's where they're going to see it very, very late. So kind of cool there. Some Lings running up the Reaper and Hellions, still kind of looking for them, keeping them clean.
One Ling actually looping back around, trying to spot if there is anything expansion-wise coming up here. I do like the build choice from INnoVation just based off how Game 1 goes. Now, I don't know if he's doing this build just because this is the build he's going to do no matter what on this map, or if he's actually responding to what happened in Game 1.
Well, I think that, you can make like a... It's like when you buy a couch, you think of your coffee table as well, right? It's like when you make your plan for game number 1, having game number 2 look similar. It's like, okay, get ready to defend, and then he sees a third command right there, and he's like,
he just spotted it.
I have a roach war and I'm ready to defend. And there's nothing to defend. He has a third command, so you're in a little bit of trouble.
Why do you think he put it there and not on the high ground?
I think it's because he was probably expecting an Overlord to try to peek in.
Okay.
And so he's just like randomizing the place. Like, for instance, if this was dark, there would have been a Speed Overlord. Maybe he would have skipped that area, would have checked the whole main. Like, because if you have an armory, it might be like in the bottom left of the main, right?
Right.
So the last place Speed Overlords would check is exactly where that third command is.
That's smart.
Okay, 10 roaches on the way. We'll see what he can get done with this. It's obvious that he wants to put on some pressure. The Rax is already up producing, and the Hellions trying to buy as much time as possible.
Okay, Hellions just beat Micro back here. Actually, a little bit of an overextension there by soO.
Yeah, it felt.
I don't mean to be too critical of him, but like that is going to happen eventually. The Hellions are going to be meeting up there. Scan here over at the natural expansion. Stim is almost done, but it looks like INnoVation is a little bit more concerned with a possible big attack, which is in fact inbound. So he's got his 3 bunkers set up here. He may even get a 4th. We've seen that before, just to the left of the upper left bunker.
Well, with Stim finishing and 2 medevacs on the way, 3 bunkers plus these Hellions should hold him pretty well, and then he's going to have medevacs, and that's where it's going to get really hard to hold on. Like, he's going to be able to push right out of here as soon as those medevacs are out.
Yeah, and the counterattack may be too strong. The Bile's connecting here, and note that he immediately turns around. He does not even repair that bunker. I'm sorry, he does repair that bunker. I'm like, come on, INnoVation, you're making me look bad now.
He wants to make everyone look bad, Tasteless.
He's wrecking soO, he's wrecking the casters.
Yeah.
He's going to shoot a few corrosive biles into our audience, kill a few people here. It's going to be brutal.
Well, INnoVation immediately, as those medevacs come out, send out his 3rd command center, canceling a couple of those bunkers, selling them back for 75% of the price. Great return policy.
As long as you got your receipt.
Yeah. Truthfully, you don't even really need the receipt as long as you ask to speak to the manager.
Yeah,
it's just a
as long as you just ask indignant enough. Yeah, that's true. Especially if you're younger than that guy at the counter. You're like, excuse me? He's like, oh, God, oh, God. Now, now let me return these 5 electronic toothbrushes I stole from Walmart.
That's so true. I've had that happen, Tasteless. I used to work retail. It's funny
really?
Stuff. Yeah.
Okay. We have the medevacs now being zoned back out here, but INnoVation definitely just keeping soO honest. And the way this map is structured, you can actually poke into the main and then just boost back and rotate up with your army. And anything that you can pull from the Zerg back over there is going to be good. And will this push up here do that much damage to Zerg? It actually could. We haven't actually gotten a good shot of what exactly Zerg has above this.
I think he has enough. Like, Roach speed isn't done, and his 1-1 is just slightly later, so he has to kind of dance back here, which means he'll lose a lot of creep, but I don't actually think much damage will happen from this initial INnoVation push. You know, he's just poking a bit. And here he goes. He picks up, goes right towards that main base like you were talking about.
And he's going to be in proximity to the spawning pool.
Wow.
One Baneling there. The rest of the Lings and the Ravagers coming down. Already the drones have been evacuated. The spawning pool getting low on HP, and it does not go down, surprisingly. Wow.
Tasteless, I knew that wasn't going to die. Why did you start to say it was going to die? Do you even play this game?
You're such a bad caster. 1-1 about to finish.
That was going to lose.
Everybody. I was the only guy.
Look, I was thinking it would have only 10 hit points. It had 14, whatever. I'm a bit off. But, you know, there's randomness now. Quickly, Marines fire.
He's going to continue to push forward. I think he's actually going to dive back in, but it's not going to work. Ling's already in position.
He wants that spawning pool, man. You got to make a Banshee. You want that spawning pool, man. You got to get back in there with a Banshee. It's the only way.
He drops back out over here. I think INnoVation may have overstayed his welcome.
Yeah, he's not going to get anything else done.
Yeah, he doesn't actually have that much. Supplies right now. Wait, hold on. Let's do our Todd impression. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Look at the supply. Yeah.
That's
but
really
it's actually
good.
pretty close, so it's probably not a good time to remark on it.
This is...
We didn't do him justice.
Well, I mean, yeah. That's just only if it's like 100 supply more. That's when
we'll wait until next time, and then we can start dropping our Todd
I'm sure
names.
that'll happen soon enough. But look at this type of play. Okay, he's actually suiciding to get the spawning pool.
All right.
And in fact, soO hadn't made another spawning pool, so I actually like it when you've already they're going to suicide something.
Yeah.
You just make it again somewhere.
No, that's really sick when you end up pulling that one off.
Yeah.
And then you're actually just feeding into you.
Yeah. But by the way, Tasteless.
Yes.
Corruptors have been added in for soO, so that's kind of interesting that he's gone for Corruptors here. A little nod towards the dark style of this matchup. And he has Roach speed. 2-2 is going to be finishing up. He's got Baneling speed. He's got some Ravagers in there.
Dark with the Corruptor style. We're now seeing soO begin to incorporate here. Really makes it difficult when you're actually fighting with Marines and Medivacs on the low ground. The Medivacs are just constantly taking damage, which puts a half-life on basically how long you can last in the middle of the map fighting as long as Zerg is reinforcing.
Yeah.
And that puts a big damper on the Terran, because if the Terran gets put out of position and you lose all those Medivacs, you just lose a lot of push potential for a big chunk of the game.
Yeah, and I mean, they can soak up a lot of damage, like even if they get hit by Widow Mines or anything like that. They kind of never die throughout the game. So look at this, a Siege Tank-based push here by INnoVation. Now, soO has a lot of Ravagers, so there's a possibility he can get some biles down those immobile Siege Tanks, but he has to get close to them first.
Yeah, well, he's got the Siege Tanks in an interesting spot. They're really far back, with the Marines very much so far out in the front. Hold up, we got a big Baneling attack happening.
Yeah.
Looks like it's headed over here towards the third.
He might be able to cancel that fourth CC as well.
Whoa.
Wow, Martyr's hitting that front Bane, and here we go. A big attack in, but the Siege Tanks, oh my god.
INnoVation making soO respect that. Now, I don't know what happened back in that other attack, but it may be inconsequential, as INnoVation is now pushing through here, essentially bulldozing through here, and attempting to just crush soO's expansion.
A lot of Siege Tank hits, just destroying these Banes. Like, he picks off a couple tanks, but this is not efficient for soO at all right now, who is losing his third base.
Yes, it does go down, and he may even be able to push further over here. Supplies are even, but positionally, INnoVation is at a very superior just setup overall. It's going to be hard for the Banelings to connect. The tanks are very spread out, and it's going to be tricky to get those Ravager shots in. Plus, if Zerg overextends, Terran sims forward and guns down all retreating Ravagers.
Oh my god, he's lost so many Overlords as well, but now he's going to lose the supply to match, attacking with the rest of his army, but it's not going to do very much. Some good corrosive hits there, so that's nice, but even his Corruptors are starting to fall.
INnoVation is savage. GG!
Jeez. Oh man, that was like really a one-sided match there, to be honest. soO never looked like he really had much of a shot, and INnoVation just crushes right through.
Wrecking Ball, INnoVation just takes out soO, making soO look like he doesn't even get that matchup that well. Does not seem like soO can transition as comfortably into Corruptors while keeping the balance of his army on the low ground.
He had this opening, right, where he made a lot of Roaches and Ravagers. They really didn't do very much at all. Killed a couple SCVs, forced a few bunkers, but in the grand scheme of things, they didn't perform. And truthfully, even though we've seen Dark do it that way with Ravagers mixed into his army and everything, like a lot of times that isn't exactly the unit comp he's going for. And we saw that with the Siege Tanks added in. Like, mutas actually kind of do better against Siege Tanks in a way because of the immobility of the Siege Tank. You can fly around, do more damage. The Corruptors, you're just kind of playing defensive.
And the other thing as well is just with Ravagers, obviously they can counter Siege Tanks in Siege mode, but the way INnoVation had that set up, the Marines were so far in the front. It's a long walk to get the Ravagers up there. Then they fire. The Siege Tank's still done a lot of damage. It just did not work out for soO. We are going to go to a short break. When we return, our winners match, INnoVation versus Classic.